And in the face of the worst pandemic in a century, we launched the greatest national mobilization since World War II. On the day we left office, we were vaccinating 1 million Americans a day. You know, I'll always be proud of the way the American people responded over the course of the last year and a half, with courage and compassion. But as I said to them just this week back in the Hoosier State, I will always be grateful for the doctors and nurses and healthcare workers and first responders that saw our nation through this trial. But we stood for our values. We stood with our allies and stood up to our enemies. You know, 4 consecutive administrations had made a promise to the American people and our most cherished ally, but it was our administration that kept our promise when we moved the American embassy to Jerusalem, the capital of the State of Israel. With renewed American strength, we unleashed the full weight of our American military. We crushed the ISIS caliphate, took down their leader without one American casualty. It's extraordinary to think of it. And over the course of those 4 years, we stood up for all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. 300 federal judges appointed to our federal courts, including Justice Neil Gorsuch, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and Justice Amy Coney Barrett. I mean, with the support of the people of Iowa and great partners like Randy Feenstra and Congresswoman Miller Meeks, and your prayers, we made history in 4 years. We made a difference. We made America greater than ever before. But I'm here today because we live in a time when, more than ever, we need to roll our sleeves up and win America back. Because how times have changed. In just 177 days, the Biden administration has unleashed a tidal wave of left-wing policies that threaten to wipe out all the progress we made for a safer, more prosperous America. I mean, Democrats have moved so fast to advance their liberal agenda, sometimes I feel like the left hand doesn't know what the far left hand is doing. Thank you for that. I mean, but in all seriousness, think about it. President Biden has launched an explosion of runaway spending, tune of $6 trillion and counting. Proposed a budget this week that would be the largest spending increase in U.S. history in a single year. They proposed the largest tax increase in 50 years and unleashed the worst inflation that we have seen in more than a decade. They've announced plans literally to cut funding to our military and use taxpayer dollars to fund abortion. It's remarkable to think that throughout his career, President Biden was one of those Democrats that supported the Hyde Amendment, authored by the famous Congressman Henry Hyde of Illinois. It was one of the bipartisan agreements in the Congress that whatever you thought of the issue of abortion, that you recognize that it was simply wrong to ask Americans who considered abortion to be morally wrong to use their taxpayer dollars to finance it. And there was broad bipartisan support. But when he was running for president, and now his party has advocated legislation to do away with the Hyde Amendment, but we're not going to let it happen. We're going to stand for the right to life, and we're going to protect pro-life taxpayers by upholding the Hyde Amendment.